I personally was troubled just because, you know, Joe is not Beck, he's not anyone else, he's Joe. And, you know, I understood the appeal, but I was really ambivalent. I was really troubled. And that was also what Greg and Sarah said that they thought was appropriate about me playing him. I remain ambivalent. I'm really questioning why people like Joe so much. Not because I don't understand it as well. I think I'm just interested in seeing people's responses. I feel like it's a, I mean, as it goes into further seasons and stuff, I'm interested to see how interactive it becomes as a cultural sort of like, I don't know, like portal, because to me, however successful it is, however people like it, that means something. We know that we don't want to behave or be like Joe. However, we want to watch a show through his eyes. I think now, I don't know, I don't even remember when I read, when I first read it, I was like, oh. So now I think, like, having shot the first season, I'm really looking forward to the response.
You know what I just realized while you were speaking is that so much of what Joe does is like what we do. The stalking and, you know, like desperate for love, desperate to be close to someone and hating this other person or whatever it is. Like we all do that, and I think like that's a part of the attraction is he gets to
live out the fantasy.
Because
he's like a troll. He's like a real troll, like an internet troll.
Yeah, but a troll for love.
Is there such a thing?
No, there's not, which is why.
Yeah, right. I mean, everybody keeps saying, yeah, but he's sweet, but it's a love story. Like, what world? I don't believe that's love. I don't believe that love equals this. So I think we have to question what is love, and if we think this is love, where are we mistaken? I disagree with Joe possibly more than anyone. Like I really, you know, and I disagree that it's a love story. I don't see it the same way as anyone else. I think because of the things I had to do to play Joe.
For me, and this goes into like the theory of love, what is love? But for me, your experience of love, especially as a young person, I don't like to take away from that. So I would say like Beck is experiencing it as a love story, a potential love story. Whether or not it's real love, true love, or the good kind of love, the love without attachment and all the rest of it, I wouldn't say it is that. But I do think for her and for me playing it, it is about the relationship. And it's kind of her figuring out how to love and to be loved. That's one of her main issues is she doesn't really respond well to like all the love that he's giving her.
I don't disagree with it being a love story, but I guess that was not personally the thing that I was always thinking about as Joe.
And by the end of it, it's certainly not a love story.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know what's funny though? It was towards the end.
That you felt like it? See, I think we
started to have to
switched
connect.
places.
Well, I think because it was by the end that I had to start really connecting to the part of Joe that thought it was a love story because I, as a person reading it and having to do it, I was horrified. You know, I was just like, this is getting really intense.
Pete, she is the queen bee out of her group of friends, and it's very short, very abrasive, and just says what she's thinking without giving too much thought about it. And if she hurts your feelings, then, I don't know, deal with it. You know, that's sort of her mantra. But she has such a love for Beck because I think she is so opposite from her. And I think she loves Beck's just carefree mentality and just ease and just, you know, she's just a ray of light compared to Peach in a lot of ways. So she loves that relationship and loves it so much so that it becomes almost an obsession and an extreme jealousy when you bring in Joe to the picture. Over the season, you just see them toe to toe and sort of like, well, who's going to be standing with Beck at the end of this? They both sort of sniff each other out, which is interesting. And are they doing that because they both have similar characteristics to one another? Perhaps. But right away, they both are sort of really into each other. In some moments, I could maybe say it'd be a love story. But then there's other moments where you're like, that is just creepy. But I have done a similar version of that. You know, I think we've all researched and creeped on people using different social media platforms. It's just, he takes it a little further than that.